Shalom uvracha to everyone. On Thursday afternoon, right before the end of the week, as we're about to enter the wonderful holiday of Sukkot, um, we've just emerged from Yom Kippur, and it was a very beautiful, given the circumstances and the challenges, it was a beautiful Yom Kippur. I want to thank all those who were involved, the Baalei Tefillah, those who davened for the Amud, those who laned, those who blew shofar, those who were involved in setting up the logistics of the seats, and the aliyot, and the hosts who hosted the minyanim and gave freely of their space and their time. I really want to thank everyone for pulling together. It was such a joy to see people who I haven't seen in person over Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It was also a joy to see those who I couldn't see in person at the Zoom on Motzei Yom Kippur, and really want to express my deep love for everybody, and how I miss all of us coming together. And Sukkot will be, again, a logistical challenge, but also an opportunity to see some of you, and also to experience a certain level of continuity. Yes, with the pandemic, that we are continuing to live our Jewish life as best as we can. Again, the most important thing is safety, and making sure that we do things in the safest way possible, the lowest risk possible, with masks and social distancing. And we're going to have some programming over Sukkot, which I hope people will be able to take advantage of in a safe way, for the children, for adults, for others. We're not going to be able to have like a regular year. We're not going to be able to have the open hut at our house like the regular year. We're not going to be able to have Hakafot as normal and the Simchas Torah Kiddush, but we're going to have some programming and try to do the best that we can in these challenging circumstances. And I encourage everyone to continue to participate as much as you can, in person for those who can, as well as on any Zoom opportunities for those who can't, to try to ensure, and to those who need anything specific, please reach out to me via email or via a phone call. Any assistance that's necessary that we can provide logistically, materially, and just to talk. And please feel free. So Sukkot is an amazing holiday. It's a wonderful holiday. It's a beautiful holiday. Whether you are able to build a sukkah, you're not able to build a sukkah this year, it's just it's a holiday with a lot of different facets. And if you look carefully in the halacha and in the machshava and the Jewish thought and the halacha, you'll see that there's a kind of duality when it comes to Sukkot. On the one hand, it's the pinnacle of all the holidays. It comes at the end of the series of holidays which began on Pesach. Yeah, if you look in the way the Bible presents it in Parshat Emor, in Sefer Vayikra, where after Shabbat we start with Pesach and then Shavuot, and then you have the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and culminates with Sukkot. And Sukkot is in the middle of the year, of the Jewish calendar year. It starts in Nisan, Tishrei, the 7th month, and it is the culmination of the holidays, the zenith. It's also the culmination of the 7th month holidays. There are 3 holidays in the 7th month: Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, culminated with Shmi Atzeret. And it's not by chance they're in the 7th month, and they're called Shabbaton. They're the only 3 holidays that are called Shabbaton, the special level of a Shabbat, which parallels the 7th day of creation. You have the 7th month, and the sense of completion of a cycle. In addition to the Shalosh Regalim, there's also the cycle of the 7th month. And it's the holiday of Simcha par excellence. The Torah calls it Zman Simchatenu, the time where we have great joy beyond all the other holidays. It's a time of joy. It's a time of a sense of joy on many levels. On a practical level, the Torah makes it very clear. You as a farmer in an agrarian society are gathering together all of the fruits and vegetables. You're counting your money, you're counting your inventory, you're seeing how well you did, and hopefully you had a bumper crop, and you feel a sense of great joy, happiness. And hopefully you can channel that happiness in a positive direction towards God, towards other human beings. You have a sense of a samachta ata V'halevi v'ager b'sharecha v'samachta lifnei Hashem Elokecha. You have a simcha before God. And you direct that kind of natural human impulse in a sense of hakarat tov. And you also have a simcha of finishing the cycle of kapara, the cycle of atonement, which started with Rosh Hashanah. You finish with Yom Kippur, and you joyously celebrate it on Sukkot. Many midrashim that talk about, for example, like the Jewish people carrying the lulav around like a parade, simcha, that you emerged, quote unquote, victorious from the judgment, and hopefully you feel that sense of joy. So Sukkot is a day of tremendous joy, and that joy is compounded in the fact that the Sukkah is seen almost as a stand-in in many midrashim and many halachot for Shekhinah, for our engagement with God directly. We're in the presence of God directly, which is of course full of simcha. For example, the Gemara talks about the fact that many of the objects of the sukkah have kedusha, right? We know that you're not allowed to use the noi sukkah, the things that we put up on the sukkah. We're not supposed to use them once they've been dedicated to the sukkah for secular purposes. And the Gemara uses the terminology of kedusha, that they have kedusha, they have sanctity. They're not just a dvar mitzvah, but they have a certain level of sanctity that's required. And there are many, many other halachot that convey that message of a tremendous amount of kedusha, that we're in Gan Eden in some midrashim, that we're in the Beit HaMikdash proper in some mikdashim. And that's where we are when it comes to Sukkot. It's a happy, joyous, special time. On the other hand, the sukkah is called in the halacha Dvar Torah. It's a sense, it's not our normal house. It's supposed to be a sense, there's a certain flimsiness to it. There's a certain sense of an intense sense that we're living on kind of shaky ground, that don't take what you think living in your fancy house as the end-all and be-all. We really live on this earth in a dirat arai. We really live here temporarily. The Gemara talks about it, and the Tanakh talks about it as a day and as a week where we experience the elements. And we're supposed to feel some of the elements, and we're supposed to let some of the rain come in, and we realize that we're not necessarily fully protected, and we want the sukkah to protect us. Like Yonah wanted the kikayon to protect him, wanted the gourd to protect him, and we hope that the sukkah will protect us. And we hope that God's sheltering grace will protect us from the times which are not happy and the times which are not joyous. In fact, there's a certain, with all the joy of the fact that we just, we able to make it through the year and we were successful, we also pray for rain. At the very moment, we also have Tfilat HaGeshem, Ana Hashem Hoshiana, save us. Hoshanot, save us. We feel everything is temporary. Yes, we had a good year, but maybe next year will be terrible. Maybe the rains won't come. Maybe there'll be drought. Maybe everything is temporary. Now, this year, of course, we feel that intensely. Some years you feel more the simcha aspect of Sukkot, and some years you feel more the sense of ivadaut, the sense of uncertainty, the sense of Ana Hashem Hoshiana. And that's okay. It's okay that different years a person will feel different things. This year we will probably feel much more the sense of that uncertainty that comes with having lived through half a year or more of the pandemic, not knowing the first weeks what to expect, not knowing this, not knowing that. At the same time, and we still have a lot that we don't know and how it's going to play out. And that's part of life. That's part of what we do. We live in the sukkah. We live with a certain level of uncertainty, and we turn to God for ma'oz u'machaser. We ask God for protection. The sukkah is protection. The sukkah not as joy, but the sukkah as a protective sense that God is ultimately behind it and running the world. And hopefully we can still find And so it's okay that this year that aspect of Sukkot is probably going to be more on our minds because the joy is going to be less because of what we've experienced and the losses we've experienced and the grief of not having the normal things that we normally experience in our life around Yom Tov. In addition to those who've actually suffered directly, and those who we know who've suffered directly in the world, in our communities, in our country. But we hope in that prayer of Ana Hashem Hoshiana, Tfilat Geshem, prayer for rain, we hope Livracha v'lo liklala. That's what we ask for. We hope that this year that uncertainty will be resolved. And we hope that we can appreciate whatever simcha we can. It may not be the same simcha as last year, but there's still some smachot. There's still simcha, the people getting married, people having children in our community. The simcha of, for many of us, not all of us, but for many of us, that we've been able to maintain our economic stability and equilibrium. And for those who haven't and aren't, we hope that we can help them go through that uncertainty period. We can all come together and help. But whatever simcha that we can have, we should try to find. Hold on to that uncertainty and pray to Hashem intensely. Ana Hashem Hoshiana, help us. Help us emerge. Livracha v'lo liklala. Let us emerge. That it should be a gishmei bracha this coming year. And at the same time, appreciating whatever we have. Our abilities to visit parents and children, even if it's socially distanced. Our ability to have school, even if it's not ideal, but that which we have, and so many other communities don't have in this country. To appreciate and have a sense of simcha in what we have, and that what we can turn from these difficult times into the small smachot, the small joys of family and other things. So I want to wish everybody a great Sukkot, a Sukkot where we appreciate that sense of insecurity and pray and recognize that and integrate that and turn to Hashem for machaseh u'ma'oz, for protection, and at the same time, whatever simcha can emerge, we should try to find that and enjoy the days as much as we can and connect with family and with all those who we can and take advantage of whatever we have in this dirat arai, in this temporary structure that we call our life. At the same time, strengthen ourselves, connect ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yoshev b'seiter elyon b'tzel Shaddai yitlonan. We want to dwell in the Tzel Shaddai, in the shadow of God. That's what we want to dwell this Sukkot. I want to bless you and all your family and everyone's family, and everyone should have a blessed Sukkot and a Shabbat Shalom.